What is up, guys? Back for another show here with your boy Ski. I just want to set this up for you guys. I know I put the Battle of the Cycles on the thumbnail, but in actuality, my actual beliefs are there are cycles within cycles within cycles within cycles, right? So your boy Ski is very good with the Wyckoff cycle and others, right? So I'm going to have him break those down for you, and then I'm going to kind of give you guys like some layman's term stuff, which breaks down cycles, which I found very interesting in doing prep for this show. But first, I'm going to give the floor to your boy Ski. I like to have him tell you guys how he got into crypto, some of his journeys in investing. Your boy Ski, you got the floor.
I appreciate you having me on. And I appreciate everything. Yeah, so what got me into crypto was complete shenanigans, complete nonsense, is what got me into crypto. I was an idiot kid who didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know anything about myself, let alone about money or investing. I was about 18 years old at the time, and there was this stupid little rocket ship ride, and you could this was back in like 2013, and you could invest $100 and it would go up, it would go up, it would go up, it would go up at 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x. If you 5x your $100, you got $500. But eventually the rocket would blow up and you would lose all your money. Well, that website would give you free Bitcoin every single day. And, you know, now that was like thousands of dollars that they were giving every single day. I'd have been better off just holding the Bitcoin. But that's what onboarded me into crypto when I was an 18, 19-year-old kid. And I just got curious, you know, I was like, what is this Bitcoin stuff? What even is this? What is this? Is this fake money? Like what, you know what I mean? And I just got curious and I just started chasing the rabbit. And the more that I learned about it, the more that I was like, oh, this is a big deal. And then, you know, I read the Bitcoin Standard and I read the white paper and I just kept going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. And you know, my journey isn't just crypto. You know, I'm an investor, I would say first. I'm known for trading, I'm known for charting, but really I'm an investor. I'm constantly looking for the undervalued assets and trying to rotate out of the overvalued assets. So I also do real estate. I have rental properties. I was a big silver stacker, you know, stocks, all that stuff. So I know a little bit about a lot, and then I'm pretty razor thin on a couple of things, and I stay in my lane.
Sounds good, brother. Well, the way I want to open this up, guys, is before I have your boy Ski talk about something like the Shemitah, right? What I need you guys to understand is there are multiple different cycles in the world. And also people use multiple different calendars. You know, Ethiopians use their own calendar, and I think for them it's like 2018 right now. You know, those people that shall not be named, they use the calendar. You know, Islamics use the lunar calendar. I think Jews and those people.
Apple juice is what he's talking about.
Kanye had something to say about that.
I'm not going to say what race, what people. We know I can't say that.
I'm not going to say what race, what people. We know I can't say that, people. Okay, they use the lunar calendar. You know, Islamics use the lunar calendar. So understand there's multiple calendars there. And then there's multiple different cycles going on, right? Now, let me share my screen here. There's some cycles that we're all familiar with, and that cycle would be a calendar, right? We're all familiar with a calendar. 365 days, sometimes with a leap year, it's 366 days. Well, I share my screen here. Within a calendar, there's certain things going on, certain cycles going on. So one of which we know and we understand is the seasons, right? There are 4 different seasons, right? Summer, winter, fall, spring, right? So there are 4 seasons in the calendar. Why can't I find what I'm looking for here? I'll just bring up one thing and we'll just go over to it. But very interesting here, a deck of cards, you guys might not know this, but a deck of cards has in it the cycles of a year. Okay. Now follow me here right quick.
Deeper than people even think, too.
Way deeper than people think. And it's kind of funny, right? Because you wonder, right? Why are people so hooked on gambling? There's way more in it than just like, oh, these are just cards. But we'll
real quick. The funny thing is, I was late. We did not talk about this at all before we went live. And I already know exactly where he's about to go. So go ahead, continue.
No, it's all good. So 52 playing cards, right? Well, guess what? There just happen to be 52 weeks in a year. Oh wow, isn't that crazy? There are 4 suits of cards. Wow, there just happen to be 4 seasons in a year. 2 colors. Oh, day and night. There we go, right? 12 court cards, 4 kings, 4 queens, 4 jacks, representing the 12 months in a year. 13 values. Remember, we were talking about people using lunar calendars and lunar cycles. Well, guess what? There are 13 lunar cycles in a year, representing these 13 values from ace to king, right? And then finally, the sum of the values of 52 cards, ace being 1, king being 13, queen being 12, jack 11, and the joker 1 is 365. The same as the amount of days in the calendar year. Add another joker, and that's 366. So just like a deck of cards, we're going to talk about Bitcoin having different cycles, like the 4-year cycle, the 7-year cycle, 50-year cycle, and the 100-year cycle. And with all of these cycles, you can break down into sub-cycles. Like within the 4-year cycle, you could say there's 2 years of bull and 2 years of bear. With the 100-year cycle, you could say there's 50 years of this and 50 years of that. Or with 50-year cycle is 25 years of this, 25 years of that. And so there's always these cycles playing against one another. And I'd like to have your boy Ski describe to us the 7-year cycle, specifically with the Shemitah.
King Cobra says I'm a mix of Waters Above and BCB. I take that as a high compliment.
That is definitely a high compliment.
Okay, so 7-year cycle. If you don't know me and what this is about, essentially, if we're playing the game of money, which we are, if we're investing into the stock market, we're investing into silver, we're investing into bonds, we're investing into crypto, we should understand who is in charge of money. As Kanye says, we can't say it. I am not advocating for any group, for any hate of any group of people. I love everybody. Okay. I don't advocate that anyone have hate for any group of people. Okay. But I'm not confused as to who is in charge of money. And if you study who's in charge of money, what do they believe? They have some customs, they have some traditions. And then if you line that up with what we've seen in the market, like, hey, we've seen some major correlations. So in biblical times, we'll just call it that, there is a Sabbath, which a lot of people are familiar with, which is the 7th day. Okay, so every 7 days is the day of rest, this and that, right? Well, there's also a Shemitah, which is the 7th year. And on the 7th year, they had some customs and traditions that they would adhere to. So one, they would free their slaves, they would free their debtors, and they would purge the land. Okay, so it had everything to do with agriculture, purging the land, which is why a lot of our financial terms come from agriculture, like collateral comes from cattle, salary comes from salt, right? Because there was a transition from agriculture, pre-industrial revolution, to the banking sector, post-industrial revolution. So we have an illusion that we are not on a 7-year cycle. And the debate here is not whether or not a 7-year cycle is real. It is 100% real. The debate is Bitcoin now on a 7-year cycle. So let me just give you some real world examples of how this plays out. Free their debtors. So thank God slavery was abolished, right? Thank God, literally, thank God. Free their debtors. The debts are freed every 7 years. If you file for bankruptcy, how long is it on your credit report? Do you know?
7 years.
7 years. That's right. If you have a repo and they call you for 7 years, you don't answer. How long is it on your credit report? 7 years. If you have a credit card, goes into collections, they call you, you don't answer for 7 years. Guess what? It is off your credit report. So we think we have an illusion that we are not on a 7-year cycle anymore, but we very much are on a 7-year cycle. So fast forward from pre-industrial revolution to post-industrial revolution. Now, instead of agriculture, it has been flipped and it has been perverted, and it has everything to do with the banking sector. In fact, if you study almost every single war, even the Civil War has, if you really study, you will find almost every single major war, you could trace it right back to the banking and central banking versus state banking. Okay. So I did this whole tweet all the way back to 1860, but we're just going to go through some of the modern day ones right now. 2022 was the 7th year. Now, a lot of people think that that's a 4-year tick. I do not, because there was other things happening, like the stock market crashed 30%. We were in a global financial recession. We were in a pandemic. Silicon Valley Bank in the same Hebrew year went to zero. So that was the 7th year. 2015, the Chinese stock market crashed. That was the 7th year. 2008, the great financial crisis, a recession, the housing crash. That was the 7th year. 2001, the dot-com bubble busted. 9/11 happened, recession. That was the 7th year. 1994, the bond market crash. That was the 7th year. 1987, Black Monday. That was the 7th year. 1980, recession. That was the 7th year. 1973, recession. That was the 7th year. And this goes all the way back to 1860 when the Civil War started. And so how it's been, in my opinion, kind of perverted in a way. What happens now that we see, instead of the land being purged, is companies, banks get purged. So 2022, thousands of restaurants, thousands of gyms went away forever. And we had FTX went to zero, Luna went to zero, UST went to zero, Voyager went to zero, BlockFi went to zero, Silicon Valley Bank went to zero. All these things went to zero. It was a purgery that took place. That's why, in my opinion, comparing 2022 price action wise to today is a flawed argument, because, and it's recency biased at best, because 2022 was getting purged. The purgery is not going to take place this time. That is, in my opinion, reserved for 2029. 2008, thousands of regional banks went away forever. 2001, thousands of internet companies went away forever. And in my opinion, 2029, thousands of AI companies will be going away forever.
Very interesting, because again, guys, 100-year cycle. We had Moonfeather on. We were talking, and she was talking about Louise McWhirter saying that there's like an 18.6-year cycle, and that basically equates to a 100-year cycle. And that also goes into Jubilee, which also goes into the people. I'm not going to say what people, what race. We know I can't say that, people, right? That it's about a 50 to 52-year cycle in which things happen, right? In which, okay, if we want to take a 100-year cycle, 100 years from 1929, which was the great stock market crash, is
the Great Depression.
Right, great, exactly. The Great Depression, right? So could that be on the docket for 2029? But before that, in 27 and 28, could we have a great time? What do you think, your boy?
Yeah, so my thesis is based on the broader markets, because for me, it's not about one piece of data. There is no one data that is going to rule all. It's about the confluence of all the data together. You could think of it like a puzzle piece. There's no one puzzle piece that's going to give me the entire picture. But if I connect this puzzle piece, and I connect this puzzle piece, and I connect this puzzle piece, and they're all telling the same story, now we can start to get a clear picture. That's how you should look at data. And this is my issue with people with the 4-year cycle, because it's not really even the 4-year cycle. It's 1064, 364. 4-year cycle is a different thing. We can get into that later. But that's like, they have one puzzle piece and that they think there's the entire picture. And to me, that's a very flawed way of looking at the market. You should look at the confluence of all of the things together, telling you what the broader picture is. And so the broader picture for me, when we consider the 7-year cycle, when we consider the 100-year cycle, when we consider the expansion that we're seeing in the market, the stock market is rocking and rolling, new all-time highs. The Russell, that didn't happen. We didn't get a Russell expansion in 2024 and 2025. That's going into new all-time highs. We're seeing breadth into the market. They're talking about, starting the QE, the ISM chart, which I could show. But every time that this crosses the threshold, that shows that companies are investing into making more money. This did not cross the threshold in 2024. So why do we not get real expansion, real euphoria in 2024, 2025? It's because a lot of the other factors weren't there, like the Russell, like the stock market, like the ISM. We didn't have that in 2024, but we were so fixated on 1064, 364. We thought it had to be right now or nothing because we didn't have the entire picture. I say all that to say, to loop it together, I think we will be absolutely rocking and rolling into 2028, 2029, including, but not limited to, the stock market. I think the stock market continues to rock and roll. Crypto, I think, will go into price discovery, including Ethereum, including Solana. And what everyone wanted in 2024, 2025, I think we're going to get that plus some before going into perhaps the next great depression. And my lens is through abundance. My lens is not through scarcity. So when I say the Great Depression, how you should view it, in my opinion, is through opportunity, because it will be one of the greatest opportunities that we ever have in our entire lives. And in my opinion, the opportunity, like I said at the beginning, I'm a value investor. The value to me right now is cryptocurrency. The value will be in 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033. The boomers' physical properties, as everyone is switching to digital and to AI, the boomers will be dying and retiring. And I think it will be a race to the bottom with their rental properties, with their construction businesses, with their plumbing businesses, with their car washes, whatever the case may be. I will be aggressively DCAing into physical businesses into the 30s, because I think that the opportunity is going to be one of the greatest that we ever have, and we will never get that again.
Interesting. So talking about the 100-year cycle, again, with the whole Great Depression thing, and I don't know how much you guys do research into this, but they say that a currency generally only has like 100 years, right? So it's very interesting with cryptocurrency and things like XRP. And shout out to Max, Jesse Apex, and Smoke, and some others, right? Where they've talked about XRP being a global currency. Like, it seems to fix some problems with the dollar being the global currency that they couldn't fix from before, right? So if you think of XRP being this, right, in the next 5 or 6 years, after, or 27, 28, let's skip 29, and then we go to 2030, 2032, where could XRP be, right? What are your thoughts?
XRP is one of my biggest altcoin holdings. So I think it's going to do well. Now, one hump that I haven't been able to get over, and I was on with Jay Claver, and I genuinely asked him, and I wasn't trying to be like, oh, gotcha. The way that I do my analysis with part of the confluence is market cap. And the XRP army will say, oh, market cap's already been disproven. Like, by whom? Like, where did I get a $3.33 target after accumulating for 5 years at 33 cents? I sold publicly and bought my farm. Literally, XRP bought the farm for me. So I always have a special place in my heart for it. But where did I get that target from? It was the 1618. Technically, it gave me a 360, but I with the woo-woo numbers, I'm like, 360, that's close enough to 333. We're just going to round down because I'd rather be a day early than a dollar short. Really, it gave me the exact number. So it's like, if market cap doesn't matter, where did I get this target based off of? So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and I will hold a 15, 20% moon bag forever. But I plan to be well out of especially 2028 at $5, $8, $12 with most of my cryptocurrencies. But $12, I'm going to be about 80 to 90% out. I'll hold a 10% moon bag. If it really wants to go to $589 and $10,000, so be it. That my 10% will be more than enough to do what I needed to do. I'm not tripping, but I don't, personally see a world in the world that we live in today where it's $10,000 or $589 without bread also being $100. You know what I mean? And maybe that's the case. Maybe that happens. I could see that happening because I don't believe I am a perma bear on the US dollar for sure. So let me just put this up real quick.
No problem. So, and then one thing also, guys, I want to talk about with the 7-year cycle, again, going back to a year, note that every week, and your boys Key mentioned it with the Sabbath, right? Every week is 7 days. So we always have 7-day cycles in our 52 weeks, every single week, right?
I even believe Bitcoin loosely is on a 28-day cycle, because if you take the 13-month calendar, which is the people who are in charge of money, what they believe, you take the 7 years, you divide it down, it gives you 13 months. You divide that down, it gives you 28 days. And if you look at Bitcoin and the chart, you will see like 85% of the time, the new moon is the local top. 85% of the time, the full moon is the local bottom. Within that window, what do we see? It's like, what also is on a 28-day cycle? Well, the moon is also on a 28-day cycle. And we see this. So I have like a Bitcoin. I compared it to, a woman. I said, Bitcoin's a woman. It's like my wife. It has a menstrual cycle. So that's what I did with Bitcoin.
And shout out to my Patreon. You know that when we talk about charts and we do a little bit of like tutorials on charting, we definitely use the lunar cycle in reference to Bitcoin. So spot on. I'm all about that life there. So
I'll show this real quick if you want to show before you move on.
Yep, let's bring this to the stage.
Here's my little cheat sheet if you guys want to take a screenshot. So the 28-day cycle for Bitcoin, and you'll find it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. There's no one data point that's going to tell you everything. But the full moon, that's like the menstrual cycle. Then you go into the follicular. Then you go into peak ovulation. And then you go into the luteal phase. Don't you dare ask it if it's about to start. Don't you dare ask it to go for long. Don't you dare. Because now they're looking for a reason to be mad. And if you ask them if they're about to start, tag, you're it.
100%. 100%. As my sisters in the chat there, we love women, sis. We're my big sis is in the chat there. Shout out to my big sis in the chat. Let's go ahead and that's hilarious, by the way. Let's bring up some things to start the conversation about the Shemitah. I want to show something here for you guys about the Jubilee, and then we can get into Wyckoff. Let's see here. Okay, let's share that.
So that doesn't help explain crypto, doesn't it, though? Doesn't it explain the volatility and the waves? He says, how dare you?
How dare you? Uh-oh. That's that. Somebody wants me to play a clip.
How dare you?
So here we go.
That doesn't help explain crypto to my wife at all.
So the Jubilee, guys, and this is again with Kanye, the I'm not gonna say what race, we know I can't say that, people, but this is in the Bible, right? In which they talk about Jubilee cycles, right? Some people say 50 years, some people say 52, and within every jubilee, there's like sub jubilees. So
I can tell you what exactly the jubilee is as far as biblical. I don't know what outside of that, but technically, a jubilee would be you have a shemitah, it's 7 years, and then 7 sevens, the 49th year. The following year would be observing of the jubilee. So the 50th year, that's when you would observe jubilee.
There we go, and that's what it's saying here. It seems within the first and second jubilee cycles, there's a distinct standalone year known as the year of jubilee, which occurs at the end of each 50-year cycle. Each jubilee cycle contains 7 sabbatical years occurring in the 7th year of each week of the years within the cycle. So exactly what your boy Ski just mentioned right there. So this is an interesting thing to think about, guys, because with our Gregorian calendar, we have no concept of this, right?
Yeah,
so
the Gregorian calendar is a scam, by the way, guys. I'll just keep it a buck.
100%. So it's almost like we're playing a completely different game on different rules, and people that know the rules, they're playing a winning game. We're playing a losing game based off of what we were taught, which
they're playing Monopoly, and we're playing the game of life and wondering why we can't win.
100%. So like it kind of saddens me when people look at this stuff and they look at it as kind of woo-woo stuff, because when you truly look into it, it's like, oh, well, I see now why you don't teach people this, because they would have an advantage. So, right. So you purposely don't teach people this stuff, and you make them think it's woo-woo so that they can keep being losers, right? So they can keep losing while you win, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty funny, right? Cryptonomics, the infamous they, right?
They them, they them,
right? Like rap songs forever. They are always doing something. They are always getting something done. They are always in the way, right?
Yeah.
They, whoever they is. You guys got me rolling today. But
I'll even give the married fellas a cheat code of like how the Gregorian calendar is a scam. If you're married, if you look up in the sky and see where is that moon at, and then you see like, oh, your lady is starting. Guess what? I imagine she's going to be starting, if her hormones are correct, about that same time next moon cycle. So if it's a full moon and she's starting, guess what? That's when she's going to start forever. And you can plan it. You don't need to ask her. You just know, hey, babe, eat some steak because you're going to need it.
And there's that too. Just that little thing that your boy Ski is mentioning right there. If you know those cycles, you know when your wife is going to be grumpy, or when you need to help her out, or when you might mess up and have a baby. Like, there's so much, right? If you know these things, your life can be so much easier, right? It's just wonderful. So so now let's get into a talk about Wyckoff. Now, those who have known my Patreon and been around my Patreon for a while, I talk about WD Yan, which I was really shocked and surprised to note that Wyckoff interviewed Gan because he was so amazed at how Gan was getting all this stuff right. And they were wondering, like, who's this dude that's landing all of this stuff, and why is he getting it right? So we'll get into that interview in a second. But I'd love for your boy Ski to break down the Wyckoff chart, because he did it on Invest with Doc show. Shout out to Doc. And I thought it was one of the like coolest, smoothest, to the point breakdowns of the Wyckoff chart that I've seen. So shout out to you, brother.
Appreciate that.
If you can give my audience a little bit of that, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, good. So I have a I just pulled up my screen here. I have a easy relation to Wyckoff versus like Elliott Wave. A lot of people are Elliott Wave people, and then very few people are Wyckoff steadiers. And to me, in my personal life, I'm learning Hebrew and I'm learning Greek because I think there's a lot of truth in those ancient languages, right? And when you learn Greek, it's very similar to English. So you start off, the barrier to entry is very easy. And the more that you learn, it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. That's Elliott Wave to me. The barrier to entry is very easy because it's easy to understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. That's elementary. We understand 5, we understand ABC. Wyckoff is similar to Hebrew in that it's the barrier to entry is exponential. It's exorbitant. It's overwhelming. But the more that you learn, the more that you study, the easier it becomes. And so shout out to Richard D. Wyckoff, the greatest trader that ever lived, in my opinion. And he created this method 100 years ago. In fact, he died in 1934. So he's been dead almost 100 years. But the methodology is the same. Why is the methodology the same? The players change, but the game don't change. The game is fear and greed. The game is manipulation. The game is apex predators. And Richard D. Wyckoff tells us all fluctuation in the market and all various stocks should be studied as if they were the result of one man's operations. Let us call him the composite man, who in theory sits behind the scenes and manipulates stocks to your disadvantage if you do not understand the game as he plays it, and to your great profit if you understand the game. The game was rigged from the start, Jimbo. If we look at Wyckoff accumulation, I think that Bitcoin has already bottomed. I don't think that October 5th is going to be the bottom. I don't think we're going to 40K. I just tweeted like, hey, man, they've been telling me for 7 months that any day now we're going to 40K. It's like, it better get on the ball because we got 51 days. So this is the textbook accumulation schematic. So there's accumulation, there's distribution. You have a selling climax. You have a secondary test in phase B, which would textbook go lower than the selling climax. And then you have a spring, which would textbook go lower than the selling climax and the secondary test in phase B. Now, it's a trick to traders because what will traders do here? Rue, what will they do? They'll draw a little trend line. See, lower low. Here we go. But we know. How do we know if it's a selling climax? How do we know if it is how do we know if it's a secondary test? So let's look at the selling climax at the points in which winding spread and selling pressure usually occurs, climaxing as heavy panic selling by public being absorbed by large professional interests at near the bottom. Often price will close well off the selling climax, meaning even it will textbook go lower than the selling climax. And then the secondary test, it tells us right here, if a bottom is to be confirmed, volume and price spread should be significantly diminished as the market approaches support in the area of the selling climax. What's that mean? It means we should get a lower low with volume giving us a bullish divergence. So let's take a look and see if Bitcoin is showing us anything like that. So let's take a look at the volume first. I'll show you how I have it mapped. So what do we notice here? We see selling climax. What they say, panic selling absorbed. Oh, I'm not showing the right screen. Panic selling absorbed by the institution. So what did we get here? We had a huge sell-off followed by an immediate buyback, absorbed by the institutions. And then the secondary test in phase B should be what? A lower low in volume. The price is going lower as the volume is being diminished. We see the price is going down, the volume is going down. And this feels crazy. It feels chaotic, but relatively, we've been between 60K and 80K for 7 months now. Mostly we've been between 60K and 67K or 70K for about 7 months now. And so this is how I have it marked up right here. And we had the same exact structure take place in 2022. And I'll show this on the top and on the bottom here. Bada bing, bada boom. A lot cleaner than when I did it with Doc. So on the top is 2026, currently present day, from January through present day of 2026. On the bottom is 2022. You have your selling climax, selling climax, immediately absorbed, immediate buyback, right? You come up, you come down, secondary test in phase B, secondary test in phase B. Now, textbook would say you go lower. Neither one of these went lower, but the structure did, because these were wicks. The structure was lower, the wick was not. The structure was lower, the wick was not. It was an immediate buyback. You have to understand the discretion that is cryptocurrency. You come up to the 200, get rejected, going into your spring. Now, the spring textbook would be the absolute bottom, but with crypto, it's more volatile. And we know FTX was the spring. FTX was not the bottom. The bottom was about 2 weeks later. We had a liquidity flush with almost zero volume that took place right in here. And I'll show this on a different chart because this chart doesn't have the volume. But what did? We came from $15,700, came up to $18,000, rolled over 2 weeks later, one more flush low. What do we have right here? $59,100, came up to $67,000, rolled over to $57,700. The flush after the spring. Okay. And then we come up to the top of the range. Back test, reaccumulate before finally reclaiming the 200-day moving average. And then it is over. In my opinion, we are somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where, but we're somewhere in this neck of the woods based on Wyckoff, in my opinion. And this works both ways. It doesn't just work for, a bottoming structure. It works for a topping structure as well. And I have this famous trade the news and you will lose chart. One of my favorite parts is, and one of my main dispoints against the 4-year cycle is, where are we counting a top? Because like I've said, if I have to pee, I'm holding it for 30 minutes. I rush into the bathroom, hand on the wall. Do you count the pee when I start, when the valves are released, or do you count the pee the last little shake? Because 126 was the last little shake. This was the highest volume right here. As you can see, volume speaks volumes. And then what do we know about Wyckoff distribution, which is a topping structure? Let me find this real quick. Let me find the topping structure, because it literally tells you that there's a paid actor that shows up at the buying climax, the climax of buying, right? So the buying climax, the climax of buying, where the volume will be the highest, the climax, the peak, the highest interest rates. Okay, so what do we see here? The buying climax is not the top, though. This is the peak climax of buying. This is when I start peeing. This is when I shake it. Okay. Shake it more than once and you're playing with it. That's what they told me. I don't know. But here we go. So up thrust after the buying climax goes higher than the buying climax. And we should also get a bearish divergence where the volume is going down and the price is going up. But this is the peak. And then what do we see? How do we know it's the peak? During which, therefore, marked increase in volume and the price spread. The force of buying reaches a climax with a heavy, urgent buying by a public figure. And professional interest.
Interesting.
A public figure. Does that sound familiar to anyone? How about in 2021? Remember this guy who was telling us about Dogecoin? A public figure. Where's the volume the highest? How about over here? A public paid actor. Where's the volume the highest? Where's the buying climax? This was the peak of the market in 2024. Not over here. Look at the volume. Look at how low this volume is right over here at 126. It's nothing. It's dead. We have more volume right now in the depths of the bear market than we got right here. This is a liquidity grab. This is a little shake. This wasn't the real deal. This is when it started. This is all distribution right here.
Very interesting here. Very interesting. So to add to this conversation, I'd like to throw WD Gann in here. So apparently, Gann was a very, very successful trader. Most people do not hear about Gann. If you use TradingView, they have Gann tools on there, like a Gann fan. again, Square, all of which you can go super into. They have the Fibonacci's kind of built into them and all of that. But very interesting in that Gann actually did an interview with Wyckoff, the same of the Wyckoff theory that your boy Ski just shared with us. So let me pull it up here. So very, very interesting. Deciphering W.D. Gann's genius, the 1909 Wyckoff interview with the Union Pacific forecast. Okay.
So just a little bit more context before you go. Sorry to cut you off. Wyckoff was like really frustrated with the banks, right? Back to who's in charge of money. He was really frustrated. Like, if you understand him as a person, he was really, really frustrated with the banks basically manipulating people and scamming people. And so he made this whole entire methodology studying how they move. And if I show like the famous psychology of investing, or if I show the storytelling arc, like in film school, of like telling a good story, it's all the same chart. That's the crazy thing about it. Like that famous psychology of investing, that's also the markup, distribution, markdown, Wyckoff accumulation. Go ahead. Sorry, continue.
That's all good. So basically, you got two men trying to figure out how these charts work, and it seems like, according to your boy Ski, like Wyckoff was a little frustrated with the banks, right? And I see you, Cryptonomics. You got some thoughts about Gann and Wyckoff in the chat, so that's pretty awesome. We'll read those coming up here. But here we have. So these are supposedly Wyckoff's words here. Some time ago, the attention of this magazine was attracted by a certain long pull stock market predictions which were being made by William D. Gann. In a large number of cases, Mr. Gann gave us in advance the exact points at which certain stocks and commodities would sell, together with prices close to then prevailing figures which would not be touched. For instance, the New York Central was 131. He predicted that it would sell at 145 before 129. So repeatedly did his figures prove to be accurate, and so different did his work appear from that of any expert whose methods we had examined, that we set about to investigate Mr. Gann and his way of figuring out these predictions, as well as the particular use which he was making them in the market. The results of this investigation are remarkable in many ways. It appears to be a fact that Mr. Gann has developed an entirely new idea as to the principles governing stock market movements, his basis of operations upon certain natural laws, right? We can get into those. You could say sacred geometry, if you want to call it that. Astrology, mathematics, one famous quote from Pythagoras in which he says, all is number. I really believe that. So upon certain natural laws, which through existing since the world had begun, not only in recent years have been subjected to the will of man and added to the list of so-called discoveries. When we asked Mr. Gann for an outline of his work and secured some remarkable evidence as to the results obtained therefrom, we submit his full recognition from the fact that in Wall Street, a man with a new idea, an idea that violates the traditions and encourages the scientific view of this proposition, is usually not welcomed by the majority for the reason that he simulates thought and research. These activities, said majority abhors. Okay, so really interesting. This is what Gann said here, which Again, if you guys know you're part of the Patreon, we go over Symbolism Sunday, and we've gotten into some of these. Well, in certain instances, people call them hermetic principles, but this is what Gann is going to refer to, a hermetic principle, right? So crazy, but we'll get into it. Crazy, it's in like not what most people think, but it's an actual true and factual thing. But anyways, let's get to it. As soon as I began to note the periodical recurrence of the rise and fall of in stocks and commodities, this led me to conclude that natural law was the basis of market movements. I then decided to devote 10 years of my life to the study of natural law as applicable to the speculative markets, and to devote my best energies toward making speculation a profitable profession. My man's a very eloquent speaker, but let's continue. After exhaustive researches and investigations of the known sciences, I discovered that the law of vibration enabled me to accurately determine the exact points of which to which stocks or commodities should rise and fall within a given time. The working out of this law determines the cause and predicts the effect, and that's another hermetic principle, cause and effect, long before the street is aware of either. Most speculators can testify to the fact that it is looking at the effect and ignoring the cause that has produced their losses. So it is impossible here to give an adequate idea of how the law of vibration, as I apply it to the markets. However, the layman may be able to grasp some of the principles when I state the law of vibration is fundamental law upon which the wireless telegraphy, the wireless telephone, and phonographs are based. And it's true, yes. That's based on the law of vibration. Of course, we speak with the law of vibration. We vibrate our vocal cords. So these are literal natural laws. Like, this is not hyperbole. This is not cap. He's speaking absolutely true facts.
Well, this is even in the Bible. Like John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And if you look at it in Greek, it's like there is I forget what it's called, but Greek doesn't, there is no A in Greek. So if the way that it wrote it in Greek, it's like the Word was the subject and God was the predicate. So it's like by very nature. I could say Ru, teacher was Ru, like by a teacher, by a content creator is his very nature. So the Word, it didn't say like was a God. It says the Word was God. So it's like, this is literally, everything tells us the same thing. I would say it's confluence. It happens all the time. Like shout out to Tatiana in crypto. We have almost the exact same thesis by like completely different methodologies, like not even the same thing, but the truth is the truth no matter who's saying it. If it's the truth, no matter how you got to that destination, it's going to be the truth.
Guys, this is next level stuff right here, right? This is some of the stuff we get into on Symbolism Sunday. This might sound really foreign to you, and I know you guys might just be like, hey man, just give me the pick. I just want the pick. But this is like, this is stuff that's like true, like market research, true, like if you really want to be an investor, understanding this stuff, right? And true things that are like philosophical to your life, like really, right? You guys might know certain rappers where they say, I think Busta Rhymes, others, different religious sects where they say word is bond, word is bond. Like this is it. This is it. Like
I can give you a crazy like confluence of truth, right? He mentioned the periodic at the beginning. If you take iodine americium, so I am, and then you put that gives you so the weight, the periodic weight of those. Iodine is 126, americium is 243. If you add those up, you get 369. Nikola Tesla tells us if we want to know this, the key to the universe, study 369. And then if you take I am, iodine, americium, spoke words into existence, let there be light. That THAT, I am that I am, Yahweh. It connects you to John 1:1, where it says in the beginning, the word was God. So it's just like, it's crazy how many connections there are to literally everything and the confluence of literally everything.
So literally embedded into words. And when you look at Hermetic principles, guys, like, and we've done this in Symbolism Sunday, all of these are like the Hermetic principles, like so profound, but like when you link them all together,
the I am, by the way, is in our DNA.
There you go.
It's literally in our DNA, like the 100%. I am that I am. It's crazy.
100%.
Anyways, I cut you off there, but I was like, dang, he mentioned the periodic table and everything, because I go deep on that. You know, I can go. I wear many hats. You know what I mean? Like, I can go deep on the Bible. I can go deep on the periodic table, and they all tell me the same thing.
So it just sounds like we got to do a follow-up episode for sure. But without the existence of this law, above inventions would have been impossible. Okay. And you know, and then here we go back to Wyckoff. He says, in order to test out the efficiency of my idea, I have not only this is still, I guess, Gann. I have not only put in years of labor in the regular way, but I've spent 9 months working day and night in the Astor Library of New York and in the British Museum of London, going over the records of stock transactions as far back as 1820. I have incidentally examined the manipulations of Jay Gould, Daniel Drew, Commodore Vanderbilt, and all the other
name. Calling him out by name.
Right. And guys like Commodore Vanderbilt was the Elon Musk of his day. Like,
100% more. He had more money.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. He may have had more money than Elon Musk in his day.
For a fact,
in his day, he may have been just like the sum total of all people in the world. He was like, seriously, like beyond.
The purchasing power of his wealth was definitely exponentially bigger than Elon Musk.
And of all the other important Wall Street manipulators from that time to the present day, I've examined every quotation of the Union Pacific prior to and from the time of E.H. Harriman's, another very influential person and probably a bonesman, actually, if you guys know what I mean by that. Securing control, and can say that all the manipulations in the history of Wall Street, Mr. Harriman's was the most masterly. These figures show that whether unconsciously or not, Mr. Harriman worked strictly in accordance with natural law. So apparently he found out that Mr. Harriman, and if you guys look into the Harriman family, there are definitely some connections to the Democratic Party and to Skull and Bones and whatnot. If you guys want to go there, but some very, very famous people that he's mentioning here. You know, I'll be sure to send this to. Let's read a little bit more. The power to determine the trend of the market is due to my knowledge of characteristics of each individual stock and certain grouping of different stocks under their proper rates of vibration. Stocks are like electrons, atoms, and molecules, which hold persistently to their own individuality in response to the fundamental law of vibration. Science teaches that the original impulse of any kind finally resolves itself into periodic or rhythmical motion. And just as the pendulum returns again in its swing, just as the moon returns in its orbit, just as the advancing year ever brings the roses of spring, so do the properties of the elements of the periodic periodically reoccur as the weight of the atoms rises.
Mm.
Wow. Pretty interesting, because I heard you talking to Doc about pendulum swings, right?
Yeah.
So from my extensive investigation studies and applied tests, I find not only do the various stocks vibrate, but that the driving forces controlling the stocks are also in a state of vibration.
I mean, you could apply this to literally everything. Like, you just think about, like, what did Dogecoin do? Right. But it was getting that energy. Like, literally, Elon Musk was breathing life into it, to a multi-billion-dollar asset, and it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? It's a meme coin. So yeah, it's like exactly what he's talking about right here. It's the same thing.
Indeed. So okay, these vibratory forces can only be known by the movements they generate on the stocks of their own values in the market. Since all great swings or movements of the market are cyclic, they act in accordance with periodic law. Science has laid down the principle that the properties of an element are periodic in its function of its atomic weight. A famous scientist has stated that we are brought into conviction that diversity in phenomenal nature is different than kingdoms, and almost immediately associated with the numerical relationship. The
It's
numbers
funny, I brought up the periodic weight 10 minutes ago.
Right?
Right. Yeah. That's crazy.
The numbers are not mixed chaotically and accidentally, but are subject to regular periodicity. The changes and developments are also seen to be, in many cases, oscillatory. Thus, I affirm every class of phenomenon, whether in nature or in the stock market, like your boy Ski was saying there, so you could apply this to all of life, must be subject to the universal law of causation and harmony, which, of course, is another Hermetic principle. Every effect must have an adequate cause. If we wish to... Go ahead.
One of my favorite books of all time. Everyone is pretty familiar with Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. But one of his like not famous books is actually my favorite book. It's called Outwitting the Devil. And he's interviewing, quote, the devil in this book. And the devil is giving away his secrets on how he gets people to not succeed and falter and fail. And it talks a lot about Hermetic law, and it talks a lot about fear is his greatest ally, and it talks a lot about the illusion of free will, and it talks about like nature obeys, so that like free will is not what we think it is, and that we either choose the law of nature, as in nature is perfect, it has perfect balance. So we either choose that and obey those laws, or the opposite is automatically chosen for us, which is chaos.
Okay, I'll have to check that book out. Napoleon Hill's the first book you mentioned is one of my sister's favorite.
Yeah, it's Outwitting the Devil. It's like a 3 or 4 hour read. It's on YouTube for free too, by the way. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's so good.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. Let's see here. All right, let's just read this last part, and then we can get into some other stuff. We can get into some of the comments here. Through the law of vibration, every stock in the stock market moves. No, I didn't read this one. In its own distinctive spheres of activities as to intensity, volume, and direction. All of the essential qualities of its evolution are characterized by its own rate of vibration. Stocks, like atoms, are really centers of energy. Oh my gosh, this is so great. Therefore, they are controlled mathematically. Stocks create their own field of action and power to attract and repel, which principle explains why certain stocks at times lead the market and turn dead at other times.
Dude, you know what's so crazy about this is, I'm gonna be honest, I'm keeping it a buck with you. I stay in my lane. I do what I'm good at. I have been like intuitively doing a lot of this stuff, but I've never heard of this. You know what I mean? And like, yes. I'm sure you can attest, like just the little interactions that we've had with each other. Like, I have been intuitively doing a lot of these things, but I've never even heard of this. So I'd like you to send me this article so I didn't even know there was a methodology based on it. I've just been intuitively out here doing a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. No, I said I can attest. I asked him backstage, and he's like, "I don't know. This is a good person. What are you talking about?" but it's very interesting, and it's like if you understand the laws of nature, you will intuitively do some of this stuff by just understanding those laws. So this is some great stuff here, and I never thought to connect Gann and Wyckoff together. And it's interesting because I've looked up each one of them separately, and they never mentioned that the two had an interview. So this is very interesting. Let's see here. So, which in principle explains why certain stocks at times lead the market and turn dead at other times. Thus, to speculate scientifically is absolutely necessary to follow natural law. After years of patent study, I have proven to my entire satisfaction, as well as demonstrated to others, that vibration explains every possible phase and condition of the market. In order to substantiate Mr. Gann's claims to what he has been able to do under this method, we called upon Mr. William E. Giley, an inspector of imports, 16 Beaver Street, New York. Mr. Giley is very well known in the downtown district. He himself has studied the stock market movements for 25 years, during which time he has examined every piece of the market literature that has been issued and procurable in Wall Street. It was he who encouraged Mr. Gann to study out the scientific and mathematical possibilities of the subject. When asked about what had been the most impressive of Mr. Gann's work and predictions, he replied as follows: "It's very difficult for me to remember all the predictions and operations of Mr. Gann, which may have been classified as phenomenal, but the following are a few. In 1908, when Union Pacific was..." Okay, so they're just going to give some numbers here. But yeah, I'll definitely share this with you. I'll share it to your X account. And yeah, guys, that was a treat because I hadn't read the whole thing through, but definitely a treat. So let's get into some of our comments here. So you guys got authentic reactions from me and Yaboyski on that. I hope you guys appreciated it. Let's get into some of the comments here.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Nothing like a little neck pop.
Yeah. My back turned 67 today. You believe that?
I like that. Brother Rue, what's good? This should be interesting. Looking forward to it. Let's freaking go, ZEBEC. Good to see you guys. Interesting. Let's go. Fantasy King Cobra. My sister in the house. Hey, hit that like button on the way in. Rue Crew. Trevor Lawrence says he has a 28-day cycle, Yaboyski. So we went over that. Trevor Lawrence is so funny. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, what is that show? The Good Place, where they talk about Trevor Lawrence all the time and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. What's up, Kevin Harthorne? ZEBEC, what's up, Rolling with Toshis? What's up, Big Choppa? Yo. S-Key is kind of a mix of Waters Above and blockchain backer. Yes, indeed. Interesting, Rue. Never heard about the cards before, brother man. Yeah, that was interesting about the cards. When I found that, I was like, okay, so they definitely encoded something in these cards to make them more addictive, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the truth is the truth. It's like it's some tarot card stuff. Like it is like you're connected to some stuff there for sure.
King Pound says yeah, so some interesting things there. Harlot of Revelation is Jerusalem here from Aaron. Revelation says the harlot reigns over the kings of earth even. The Bible predicted this all. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth. So they changed up a lot of the languages, but like when you get to the source, you get to the Hebrew, you get to the Greek, there's a lot of truth that, reigns true today that you can apply to, your life. You can apply to the markets, for sure. Like there's a lot of clues in the ancient languages, whether it's Aramaic, Hebrew, or Greek, for sure.
And it's interesting, guys, when you start to study etymology and the etymology of languages, you end up finding so much more stuff than you ever thought was possible.
Right, because I think you're into gematria, no?
For sure.
Yeah, so that's a rabbi thing. And like English is pretty dead as a language because it doesn't connect us. But like Hebrew and Aramaic and Chaldean, they all had the very beginning in mind from the end. So like each word, each letter has a number connected to it by design, and then that number means something. So this is something like rabbis created gematria. So they would study what is the Hebrew, what does it mean, and what do the numbers mean. So it's like this isn't a new thing. This is thousands of years old. You know what I mean?
Indeed. And that gets us right back to things like GAN and what he was talking about with the principle of vibration, right? King Pound says Marshall Hayner, XPR metal coin protocol equals something. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's even in the logo for sure. Indeed.
Oh, dude,
indeed.
if you ever studied H-Bar's logo, bro, that's Yakim and Boa right there. That's what that is.
Oh, nice. And I didn't realize too, like H-bar is like a mathematical formula.
Yeah, if you study the logo of H-Bar, you'll see Yakim and Boaz, and you'll see the 33rd. It's all connected to that stuff for sure.
It sounds good. Nice little rabbit hole for me to look into tonight.
Just look at the symbolism of H-Bar and tell me that's not Yakim and Boaz. And if you're on the board, if you know what the game is, if you're on the board of those players, of those Apex Predators, if you're on the board between Yakim and Boaz, you are being measured and you are being ruled.
Interesting.
That's what the whole symbolism means.
Interesting. From my sis, let's get those likes up, guys. Really help to push out the algorithm to others. Indeed. Dave Jr. just caught a small just caught a fish while listening. That's awesome.
For good luck. Is he real, Cleveland? Hey, we literally delayed the stream based off of my shenanigans.
Right? Hey, you got to get that football.
It's preseason, brother. It don't matter, but I'm just like that.
I go into depression every time there's like not a football season, quote unquote. I'm just kind of joking there, but kind of for real. I really like football season for sure.
No, I love misery. Alex Jones, I like the pain. I'm a Browns fan. I've been a Browns fan my whole life. I'm a season ticket holder.
I'm a Lions fan. Detroit Lions fan, so I'm right there with you, bro.
We're like the same. You're the NFC version. You guys have had a pretty good couple of seasons, but it was a lot of pain for a long time.
Oh my god, yeah, including Barry Sanders just like faxing in his resume like I'm done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I live in this is a crazy thing. I live in Tennessee. I am a season ticket holder of the Cleveland Browns, and I go to like 5 games a year.
Wow. I mean, I guess you could probably still sell them, right?
Yeah, I sell a couple, and then I kind of break even.
Nice, sounds good. BlackRock gonna take everything. That one guy. What's up, Jerry? B in the house. Root Crew Patreon member in the house. Let's give Jerry. We leaving with something.
Yeah. I see a big tray. I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Well, let's go, Jerry in the house. Personally, no disrespect. I'll be DCA out in 2028. I'll keep a money bag for secrets.
Same here, bro. I'm be out in 2028. I am not waiting for 2029.
2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029. 2029 Makes sense to me. The whole
I'm
market
leaving
cap,
with something, brother. I'm leaving with something.
right? Your boy is leaving with something in 28, right?
Yeah.
Let's go. XRP will fluctuate in its current price. Dave F, what's up, everyone? Smash those like buttons. Max is in the house. What's up, Max? I'm watching a video describing crypto with menstrual cycles. Yep. Bear market bottom is confirmed. Hey, if you don't understand the moon cycle, then you just didn't get that one. But
hey,
trust. It's on point. It's on point.
Yeah. My thing is like people every time I bring up the moon, they think I'm a witch. It's like, brother, I'm not a witch. Every culture for thousands of years have studied that and they base their entire calendar around it. A month, aka a moon cycle. That's what a month is. And like the moon pulls the tides in, it pushes it out, but we're 80% water, but it has no effect on us. Domestic violence goes up on a full moon. Drunk driving goes up on a full moon. Ask a teacher, ask a farmer, ask a fisherman. They all know when the full moon is.
Indeed. So, and that's another thing that goes into, guys, like
Luna went to 0 on the lunar eclipse.
All right, with this Gregorian calendar, we've been kind of
it's a scam,
separated from natural law.
Yeah, like by design.
By design, right? So
it's a scam.
You've literally been trained to be a loser by people that know the stuff, and they keep the stuff to themselves that they know, and they train you to be out of sync with it.
And then you
continue to lose.
You pay attention to the FOMC meetings and the big PMI, like it's all on like new moons or full moons. Like it's always on those dates. Like they do it on purpose. Like we just had a huge data report come out. I think it was the CPI on the solar eclipse. Like they know what they're doing.
Right. So you don't realize like, well, tax day comes up around the harvest time, right? So like there's all these things and events that occur that are kind of timed to these events, but we have zero idea because we're so separated because we don't think about it in our calendar.
It goes crazier than that. It's like October is 8, Nav is 9, November, Dec December. Like they know what is up. They even named it around the stuff. Yeah, it goes deep.
And we've gotten into some of that on Symbolism Sunday. Shout out to the patrons. Where like if you look at an astrology year and you go from Aries, which is March, then that stuff starts to line up. So October is the 8th month, the 9th month is November, and it starts to line up when you actually go by astrology instead of the Gregorian calendar.
Right? Yeah, if you work in corporate America, by the way, if you're in the military, Doc knows what's up. When's the new fiscal year start? Is it January? Why isn't it January? The new year, exactly. It's the same. It's the same month. It's the same day as everything else. September is like the last. Is the last part of like the physical. I forget exactly when it is, but I know it lines up exactly with the Hebrew year. That's what I know for sure.
So let's see here. Moneymaker XRP says Jubilee Pentecost. Shout out to Shawnee Sean 6 in the house.
Yeah, October. There you go. Doc just gave you a donation.
Oh, shout out to Doc there. Like, yeah, I'm missing all the super chats, guys. Let me go back to the super chats here. That one guy, how dare you?
How dare you?
Let's see here. Moneymaker 250 joules, laughing disco. A treat from that one guy with 5 joules. And that's with Doc. $1.99 alpha from these two guys. Let's give Doc the my man. Indeed. Let's
Dude,
see.
it's funny because you have all these stuff from like Denzel and stuff and all these like little memes. I have anytime someone donates to me, I do Macho Man, the cream rise to the top. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple Macho Man ones. I never play them, but let's see here.
Didn't need them then, don't need them now. Mind-boggling to you, yeah.
Yeah, so,
shout out to Macho Man.
So my community is called the Savages, so that's why I do Macho Man. Because most of my core was with me in 2022 in the bottom of the bear market. So I used to say all the time, if you're here today and you're still grinding, you're still hustling, you are a savage. You are the future 1%. And so that's how it became a whole thing. Is like, you guys are the Savages.
Indeed. Let's see here. Crypto Crossroads Show. Shout out to Crypto Crossroads Show, another creator that watches. Definitely go check out Crypto Crossroads Show. We'll show his channel and your boy skis in a second here, as well as Invest with Docs. Crypto markets could be in humiliation rituals. LOL. Jokes aside, the knowledge is worth its weight in gold. Keep up the good work, guys. Thanks so much, Crypto Crossroads.
Almost spit out my drink.
I know that was a good one from Crossroads there. Let's see here. We got Shook Focus in the house too. Thank you, Shook, for sharing your Boise skis information there. Definitely get Shook, your boy ski, and me on the Coin Vault show, crypto show that we have, the Crypto Verdict, the best game show in crypto. We'll definitely share that as well coming up here. And you can see here, it's definitely time for glasses for me because I am zooming way in over here. Let's see here. Okay, so Cryptonomics has a little beef here. Apparently, he likes Gann over Wyckoff and also Elliott Wave. He says that basically in a few chats down here that Wyckoff and Elliott were basically trying to be Gann over here. He says WD Gann learned from astrologer Saprio. That sounds like a Nephilim or an angel. Saprio.
Is that Joseph Smith? What's going on here?
right. Oh, that's a whole nother rabbit hole right there.
It's all subjective. It's all subjective. That's the secret that they don't tell you. There is no law. But like I said earlier, it's like the truth is the truth, regardless of how it gets to there. It's the truth. It will tell you the same thing. Even in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, it's all the same story, but it's their accounts. It's all the truth, though. You know what I mean? And so it's like, whether it's Wyckoff, whether it's Elliott Wave, whether it's looking at fundamentals, whether it's studying apple juice boxes, whether it's, whatever the case may be, the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter.
Indeed. Harmonics is essential to various fields, including music, yes, indeed, and electrical engineering, where it can explain the behavior of sound waves and electrical signals. 100% Cryptonomics on that. Start that comment. Harmonics are involved in literally everything. If you want to go into like things like star forts and different things like that, there's so much when it comes to harmonics. But that's a whole like symbolism Sunday for the guys in the Patreon here. Big Choppa, I love this type of stuff. And yeah, you can't be a true investor unless you understand harmonics. I agree. Cryptonomics. Eski, is this streaming right now? What is his at?
Your boy Ski, YABOYSKEY.
Yep, let's bring that up here. So definitely come check me out over here on am I sharing it? Nope.
And then my at on Twitter is at Gajewski, GAJEWSKEY.
Yeah, let's bring those up.
And no, I'm not apple juice. I'm just Polish. And so
Not gonna say what people, what race. We know we can't say that. But yeah, follow your boy Ski here at GAJEUWS Ski, right?
SKEY.
So he
If
just
you type in
clarified.
if you type in your boy Ski, it'll come up. Just make sure it's at my last name. That's all you have to do, because there's some scammer accounts out there. I'm never gonna message you first and ask you for money.
There we go. And then let's go to YouTube here. So I definitely want to check out too that you said you did 30 points to why Bitcoin is all not going to bottom. You need more than this, right?
Yeah. 30 data points on why I believe that the bottom is in already. Past tense right now.
So definitely come over here, guys, and like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me go ahead and put the little graphic, because I know, like, for some reason, if I show the graphic, more people like and subscribe. So let me get the little graphic going if I can here. As my thing seems to be betraying me. But let's play the Rick James for you guys here.
What is the 5 fingers say to the face? What? Slap!
Shout out to Charlie Murphy and Dave Chappelle for that one. R.I.P. Charlie Murphy as well. But let's go ahead here. Yeah, my banner will not scroll for me, so I can't put that up. But let's go back here.
They're trying to censor us.
So we got
send us to the shadow realm.
right. We got Underdog Research Channel here. Shook Focus Digital. Shook's in the chat there. Thanks for running the chat there, Shook. Really appreciate it, brother. Got Max also in the chat there. Got a couple different creators in the chat. I think I might have seen Mooney as well. The Guidance Matrix, the Mooneyverse, Gentleman of Crypto, MIC Odd App. And then we got our boy, the Crypto Crossroads Show, in the chat as well. Shout out to Crypto Future, another member of the Coin Vault here. The triple threat, the trio of the Coin Vault, right? Shout out to the Rona Experience, Benzinga, and One-on-One Media, as well as Simon Family Investments. But let's put in
BOYSKEY. There you go. That's me.
So definitely come over here, guys, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And let's see here.
I think it's a short, actually, the 30-year, the 30 data points. So it's not even that long. It's probably better on X, because I think it is 5 minutes. I think it got cut off after 3 minutes, but you scroll down. I'm posting like 5 videos a day. If you go to Grok and just type in your boy Ski or at Gayeski 30 data points, but yeah, it's one of the more recent ones. I'll try to pull it up actually right now for you. I'll put it in the private chat. I'll give you guys the post. We'll pull up old handy dandy Grok.
Sounds good.
30 data points. Why we bottom. There we go. But yeah, I go live Monday through Friday. I post 3 to 5 shorts a day. I'm constantly posting videos. I'm constantly doing market updates. I interact with my audience. I really only do like 15 minutes of, like, it's not even scheduled content, but like more so like going through the market and updates. And then I'm just interacting and I'm teaching mostly. People ask me questions, and I try to, I've been doing this a while, and I used to not be a good speaker, I think. But I think, you know, sometimes people will look at me and think that I'm so concise with my speaking, but it's really because I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm constantly trying to refine it, like down to the simplest version. Because if I can't explain it to where Farmer Joe and Soccer Mom understands it, then I don't know it. And I need to get back into the lab and really understand what I'm saying. So I'm constantly trying to refine that, get better. And that's what I do. I love teaching. I love helping regular people, because I know what it's like. I was in the Army for 10 years. I was broke as a joke. I was homeless in 2014. And, through being dedicated, disciplined, and working hard, I found light at the end of the tunnel. And, anyone who's in a dark place, I know what that's like. And so I'm always trying to help people on the other side of it. So.
Thanks, man. Thanks for telling a little bit of your story. That's really inspiring, brother.
Appreciate that. Here you go. I'm gonna give this to you in the private chat so you can pull up the Twitter post right here.
Let's see here, and then we have guys. Someone saying Manly P. Hall, Secret Teachings of the Ages, and the Kabbalion. Yeah, I've read the Kabbalion. Very, very good book, the Kabbalion. Hermetic philosophy. But Manly P. Hall, I've only browsed a little bit of him, but he's another one who's really an esoteric kind of genius guy like Gan is. Definitely everyone should take a listen to him. And here we have Clutch Liquidity. I use gematria when looking into new projects and investments a lot.
Yeah, there's lots of keys to the numbers. It's all codes, ones and zeros.
Private chat. Let me see if I can pull this up without. Okay, perfect. So yeah, guys, and I'll make sure to share this and retweet it. So if you guys want to go check it out, you can. 30 reasons why Bitcoin's bottom is already in, because I do think there's some people out there, and I think you mentioned this on Doc's channel too, where they're waiting for October, and that might be a really dangerous game, right? They're waiting for a bottom in October instead of thinking the bottom is already in, which I think it might be in too, right?
Yeah, and my whole philosophy too with this whole thing is I understand that I could be wrong. I understand I'm going to catch all the strays if I'm wrong, but I'm willing to die on this hill because it means that the most amount of people are going to win. Because even if I'm wrong, based on my methodology, a worst case scenario, we're looking at 50K. So you bought maybe 10K too early and maybe 2 months too early. I'm okay with those consequences because no one thinks in 2028 when I'm saying to get out that we're not going to be at new all-time highs. So even based on my methodology, if I'm wrong, you are still going to realize gains. But if I'm right, I'm leaving with something. Okay, it's going to be dangerous. It's
right. If he's right too, right. If you're waiting till October and Bitcoin's at 80K, then you really screwed yourself.
I think it becomes really, really dangerous. Not necessarily in October. Because if it's at 80K, 90K, whatever the case may be, I think that's not even going to be the end of the world. I think where it becomes really, really dangerous is in 2029, because I think that we're going to be in a recession, and I think that it's going to be a big one. And then, people waiting for that is when it becomes super, super dangerous. And I've made videos breaking this down. If you just understand human nature primally, why are people so drawn to time-based analysis? It's because we as humans, we want and need to feel safe and to feel secure. And if I believe in my mind and in my heart that a time-based prediction is correct, then it gives me an illusion. Okay. The illusion is that there is no risk to investing because I know I can buy on this day and I can sell on this day. So it's an illusion that there's no risk to investing. And what I'm saying is that is not real, friend. There's always a risk. Life is a risk. It's a risk to drive to work. It's a risk to go to the gym. Everything's a risk. Don't be afraid of risk. Understand the risk. Understand that everything is a risk. It's a risk to have children, but it's one of the most rewarding things in life. Everything's a risk. So I'm just unveiling the curtain and saying, no, there is a risk here. And I know zero people that are effective consistently at predicting time. I know that I'm not. I'm a structure-based analyst. So I'm not going to, but I just think that the confluence of data, which is what I go through in that video, it's almost none of it is time-based. Actually, it's all structure, it's volume, it's gold, it's silver, it's the stock market, it's moving averages, it's Wyckoff, it's all the overwhelming confluence of data, which I think I am right. But even if I am wrong, you're going to be leaving with something. But if I'm right, it's going to be KO, especially in 2029.
Right. And then shout out to Christopher Offord here. I kind of agree with you, Boyski. I just think without a massive black swan, where do we go? Enough time has passed with major horrible macro movements without much downside.
And Bitcoin's being super resilient to bad news. Like, we've had the straight up here moves get closed 17 times now. World War III has started 26 times now. Like, Michael Saylor sold multiple times now. What's it going to take? What is it going to take? And that's where I'm at with it. It's like people want to live in schizophrenia land. Of like, well, what if there's a quantum hack and there's nukes? It's like, well, the world doesn't matter anyways, brother. You're not worried about the price of Bitcoin. It's like we're in this game at this point in time. We are at a game of chicken, and the game is either the world is over and Bitcoin doesn't matter anyways, or we're at a bottom or very near it. And that's what I think. So
100% there. So really nice show, guys. I'm not going to get to all the comments because I see there's a ton of comments and we didn't get to them all. But, you know, shout out to some of my regulars here, like, you know, Shawnee Sean 6, D Curry, you know, Shook Focus, Cryptonomics, Christopher Offord. Shout out to a lot of you guys. And hopefully, guys, definitely go over to both channels and like and subscribe. Is there anyone from your crowd you want to shout out, your boyski?
Shout out to all the members. Shout out to all the Telegram members. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the followers. Appreciate everybody. Yeah, there you go. Shout out to the mods, getting rid of the scammers constantly.
So Patreon, you know, this is open mic night. Shout out to the Patreon, less than a cup of coffee here. We do our open mic night every Saturday at around 6 p.m. Arizona time. So yeah, thank you to your boy Ski. Definitely want to have him back. Maybe we'll talk Dragon Energy the next show, right? This is fun.
I'm a dog.
I know, like I don't have too many people that I can talk symbolism and Shemitah and topics like this to this level. So it's truly a treat for me, brother. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we definitely got to do this again.
For sure. I appreciate you having me.
All right. So have a good one, guys. And if you made it to the end, definitely put a 7-year cycle in the chat, and it'll help spread the video around on both channels, right? So thanks so much, guys. We're out. Peace.